Hey, welcome back. This is Dave Goodwin, the original privateer. As you can see, it's sunny out. Behind me is snow. So yesterday it was cold and snowing. Today it's sunny out and nice. In the shade, there's still ice. And if I walk over there, I got to be careful because I may bust my ass. It's slippery. Over here, it's dry. That's how our life can be. We can either be in the shadows, in the darkness, or we can take that step and step into the light, and that's all the choice and the decision we make. But how do we do that? How do we break these cycles and make these changes? We have to do it through deep self-awareness, but we also have to educate ourselves how to do it, right? Knowledge, whether we read, we talk to somebody, we learn new things, we explore new ways of learning, your faith. That's how we make that change, and we take that knowledge into wisdom. So I've often said, you know, what you resist persists. So just like this season behind me that can be dark and cold and full of misery, kind of like a contrast would be heaven and hell, or hot and cold. It's contrasting, and we're going to have those different points in our life. Nobody's immune from them, but if we know how to navigate them, it's going to make all the difference in the world in our life. But how do we navigate that if we continue to have our same way of thinking that is putting us in that position? What we resist persists, okay? Because we're not embracing how we're feeling. We're not embracing our emotions. And if we're not embracing those emotions and getting comfortable, taking that risk out of our comfort zone and experiencing those emotions and identifying with them, then how can we ever learn not to repeat that creates that very emotion or those feelings that's putting us in that struggle? And that struggle sucks ass. I've been there. And I'm learning. I fail at a lot of these things I'm making, you know. I have kids. I've been divorced. I've lost everything, and I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like not to be able to breathe in the struggle, and eating's hard, listening to music's hard, hanging out with your friends is hard. I know that feeling. And I know these principles that I'm talking about that I've learned from other people, or I'm a heavy reader. I'm constantly trying to improve my knowledge of things so that I can overcome my demons. And I turn around through these videos and try to help somebody else. That's what fuels my soul. What fuels my soul is seeing people race harder than they've ever raced, or loving passionately. I love seeing happy relationships and people getting along. I love that. But how do we obtain those things if we're not taking the time to educate ourselves of new ways, and we're staying consistently in that same way of thinking that's creating this place where we don't want to be? Okay, what we resist persists. So what I mean by that, I had a couple buddies email me last night and say, hey, can you elaborate a little more on that? And basically, to make a long story short, what we resist persists. What we focus on the most is what we get. So if we're giving all of our attention to that which we don't want, that's what we're going to get. If we don't trust people, or we've had bad experiences in our life, if I don't trust people because of my experiences in my life, or I've been hurt before, if I don't embrace that pain and that struggle, and I'm constantly running from it, and I'm constantly running thinking that I can run away from it and find that peace elsewhere, whether it be a different town, maybe if you're a racer, a different sponsor, a different rider, a different bike, a different wake surfing boat, a different surfboard. Yeah, all those little variables can make a difference. But if we don't deal with our emotion and our feeling that resulted from our pain and struggle, those pains and struggles will persist. So those trust issues will persist. Those insecurities will persist. Those feelings of not being good enough will persist until we learn to embrace that pain and those struggles and get comfortable with it, they will persist. They may not surface right now, but they will keep us in that season, that cold season. And that cold season is full of ice, and it's a slippery slope, and it's real easy to bust your ass over and over and over. And that's why we continue to have the same problems. That's why the problems continue to resurface. It doesn't matter who it is, what color of motorcycle it is. You keep experiencing the same results, or whatever action sport you're in, or whatever relationship you're in, or whatever you're dealing with in your life. These worst fears keep coming back to us, because we need to embrace those fears and those struggles, those pains, and embrace it. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying things that happen to you are right and justified. I'm not saying that at all. But stop and embrace it. Don't run from it. Face your fear. Face it. Turn and face it. Run to it. And questioning what you're taking in and what you're meditating on. What are you focusing on? Because what you're focusing on is what you're going to get. That's what life comes down to, is what we focus on and what we pay attention to. So focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So instead of running from your fear, running from your struggles, run to them. Take a risk. Get out of your comfort zone. It's going to hurt. It's going to be scary. It's things that you don't want to re-experience with yourself. You've spent a life trying to get away from them, but why do they keep reoccurring? I guarantee when you get comfortable with it, you laugh at yourself, you're okay with it. It doesn't justify your poor actions, but what it does is it frees you. It allows you to move into that new season, or that new life that gives you the ability to love more passionately, to race harder, and it'll just change your life. It's a journey though. It's a process. Everything I'm talking about, I fell at it. I struggle at it. But if you have the tools and you know how to get back on track when you do have those problems, or those struggles, or those fears, or those dreads, or that shit that we all have, that we all struggle with, you can actually recover quickly because you have the tools to change your mindset. Or have you ever heard the expression, I changed my mind? Well, that's what's happening. These battles are in the spiritual realm, up here in the soul realm. And man, we have mastered the way we've thought. We've thought a certain way for so long. We've had a cycle of thinking. We've mastered it. Well, what we have to do is we have to challenge that. The things that we're not comfortable with, that we have fear and dread over, we have to get comfortable with. And that means taking a risk. So original privateer, the risk takers out there. That risk taking will send you on a new journey. It'll send you on a new adventure. And that's where you'll begin to experience a free soul more frequently, and give you the tools to deal with that shit. So we hope these videos help. Be sure to share them, tag a friend, comment. Ripping Warriors, Chris Hammond's out there. He's doing a great job for our veterans. I appreciate your posts. He's full of motivational quotes. Great guy. Check him out, Ripping Warrior Productions. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you guys. Have an awesome day.